Then you don't know really whether or not it's capable of snatching a little toddler.
There's one animal many people fear above all others: the shark. Attacks are rare, but when they do happen, it becomes clear why sharks are considered to be the ultimate ocean predators. Each year, millions of people are drawn to Australia's Great Barrier Reef for its snorkeling and diving, despite it being home to over 300 species of shark. For honeymoon couple Derek and Alicia Burrows, their idyllic holiday led to a frightening encounter that was a little too close for comfort.
Weather had been nice, mainly calm weather, with a few breezes and not much stronger winds. And so we'd have a nice, romantic, relaxing time.
And the company gave us an extra day for free to sail around, so we wouldn't actually have been at the spot had we not gotten that free day, which was lovely of them, but it's just funny how things worked out. And that morning, I think we just relaxed on the beach a bit, and I tried a little bit of windsurfing. There wasn't much wind, so it was good for me to try, and my husband did a little bit too.
Then Derek decided to go for a swim.
The boat was moored a few hundred metres from the beach, and I'd swum forwards up towards the anchor and followed the chain down and swimming along the bottom. And I'd come up for air and then gone down again and found the chain and just swimming along. I hadn't quite got to the anchor yet when the shark grabbed me.
It was a reef shark, and both of Derek's legs were inside its mouth.
Didn't feel any pain, but I just felt like somebody had grabbed my legs and shaking them around. I was looking around to my side to see what was going on, and at first I thought it was my wife. She'd come for a swim as well and playing tricks on me. But somehow I did realise it was a shark. Just vaguely remember seeing a curvy blue-grey body or something like that.
In the struggle, one of Derek's flippers came off. This momentarily distracted the shark and enabled him to get away.
After he let go, I just went straight up to the surface.
He knew he'd have to get back to the boat, despite his injuries. The shark could bite again.
I was at the back of the yacht, and then I suddenly saw my husband surface and then frantically swim back towards the yacht, and I thought, what's wrong? I could not work it out.
I was maybe only 30 or 50 metres in front of the boat, so it didn't take too long to get back.
And then just before he got on the yacht, he said, shark or shark attack.
Shark! I'm bleeding.
Yeah, it wasn't until then, till I jumped on the back of the boat, that I saw my leg had been cut open and there was blood on the boat and blood pouring out of both my legs.
Alicia helped him on board and was then faced with the daunting task of treating his injuries. They had no idea when help might arrive.
When Derek got on the back of the yacht, I saw his wounds. He asked me to grab some towels, and then he wrapped his legs in that.
Oh, it's bleeding everywhere.
Then, yeah, looking down at my legs, I saw my left leg was hanging open. The muscle was cut, the calf muscle was cut, and my right leg was cut as well. So I was concerned about losing too much blood. I knew I was away from the shark, and being on the boat, I knew we could get help, but I was just hoping I wouldn't lose too much blood before the help came.
The next thing I probably did was go down to the cabin and try and get on the radio to call for help. The thing was, the radio was off, so I had to try and find the right button, and there's 8 buttons, they're all the same. And when you're in shock, you're just pressing them all. It's the radio.
A bit of fumbling around in the panic. She got the emergency channel.
Somehow I managed to get through.
And there's always people, the police and other rescue services, listening on the emergency channels, and they heard straight away.
Derek was in great pain, but all he and Alicia could do was wait.
So that was a concerning period. I remember hoping I wouldn't die for a start, I guess. I was concerned I wouldn't be able to walk or run with my leg. I'd lose a lot of muscle or something, or that it just wouldn't really work at all.
I was totally shocked because I saw his leg was just a very deep cut and a bit of the meat was hanging out.
So I lay down, lifted my legs up and wrapped the left leg, which was worse, wrapped that up in a towel and tried to hold that tight as a bit of a bandage, and put my hand on the hole on my right leg just to try and stop the blood coming out, and I was just lying back trying to relax.
A doctor from a nearby island was flown out to tend to Derek's wounds. A helicopter evacuated him to Cairns Hospital. There, the extent of his injuries became apparent. The shark had ripped a large chunk out of his leg. The injury needed 100 stitches.
When I got to the hospital, there was a bit of an unknown how the stitches went. Had the shark bitten him just even a few centimetres further in his leg, he might have lost much more blood, or his main nerves might have been cut. Had he been bitten anywhere else on his body, he might have lost an arm, you know, or died, basically. By the time he came out of the operation, I felt fairly confident he's going to be fine.
Even though sharks can be dangerous, they really don't deserve their fearsome reputation. On average, there are only around 60 recorded attacks a year. Sharks are not out to get us. When we enter the ocean, we're entering their home, their environment. Most of the time, they slip away before we even know that they're there. However prepared we think we are, more often than not, wild animal attacks catch us unawares. The motto of an American scout group could not have prepared them for a rogue bear. Raymond Benz, known as RJ, had been a scout member from a very young age. In July 2001, he went to the Philmont Scout Ranch in New Mexico. It was a trip that would end with an encounter he would never forget.
We start hiking up, and it's a really hot day. So we get on top of Hard Peak, eat lunch and everything. We start hiking down, and one of my crew members got altitude sickness. And he vomited into a bag.
Any items with strong odors, known as smellables, must be taken back to base camp.
Well, the procedure is that they don't want you just, if you're getting sick, they don't want you to do it anywhere. They prefer you to carry it out. And he carried what he had back to camp and put it in the sump area where normal smellables would be if they have to stay in the camp.
There's always potential danger in the woods. It's crucial that safety procedures are followed.
They have an area that you cook. Also, in each camp, they have a cable that you're able to hoist your food up on, in an area that you call the sump, that you can pour any smellable waters down. And you shouldn't sleep within that area. Now that's an area that you stay out of. If you do have a visitor, whether it be a raccoon or any other kind of wildlife, they're generally going to stay in that area. It's called the Bermuda Triangle.
Preparations for the night seemed to be complete.
We got to bed, I would say it's somewhere around 10 o'clock. We'd heard some noise in the campsite. I looked out through the back of the tent with my flashlight, and there was a bear.
About 10 o'clock that night, bear comes through the first time, just kind of makes a nuisance of himself, makes his presence known.
He went over to the sump area. He scurried around that for a little while, checking out the smell. He would come by pretty close to tents, and he got to sniffing of our gear and things like that, and messing around, and all we could think, oh, he's going to tear up our gear, and we really wasn't thinking about anyone's life being in danger.
We scare him off by yelling at him, banging stuff together.
Go away, bear!
Oh, get out of here!
Get!
The bear, after a little bit of encouragement, left. Typically, a bear is not going to come near people. There's generally something that's going to attract him.
It was the odor of human vomit that lured the bear to the camp. As it seemed he'd left for good, the boys settled down for the night.
So I fall back asleep for a few hours. He comes through again, and he eats the bag of vomit that we had by the sump pit, which we were supposed to put up in our bear bag, but we didn't.
It was a mistake that could have proved fatal.